And what is metabolism? Absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. Okay. So in last class, we have learned about absorption, isn't it? I will give you a bit recap. Absorption means the amount of drug which is taken at the site of administration to the circulation. Okay, it is the movement of drug from the site of administration to the circulation. Okay, so it depends upon various factors. Aqueous solubility, then sit down. Then area of the absorbing surface, vascularity of the absorbing surface, and the site of administration as well. Okay. So, do you need recap or I will proceed further? Will you study today? You have to learn the first part, then you only proceed for the second part. If you don't understand the first part, how can you learn the second part? Okay. So the first step was absorption. Absorption means the movement of drug from the site of administration to the circulation. So we can give drug by oral route, then any other route. By which route we can give drug? Oral, intramuscular, IV, then subcutaneous, intradermal, and topical site also. Okay, directly on the skin we use ointments. Okay, then eye drops, ear drops, then inhaler. Okay, so absorption, it depends upon what? We discussed it earlier also. Depends upon all the principles that we have discussed earlier, which governs the movement of drug to cross the cell membrane. Okay. If a drug is given by IV route, it directly enters the circulation. So there is no need to cross the cell membrane. Is there any need? No, it is directly entering the circulation. So other than IV route, okay, drugs given by any other route than IV have to cross the cell membrane. So when a drug has to cross the cell membrane, it is affected by several factors. Okay, like the factors governing the transport across cell membrane. Okay, we have discussed about it. The lipid water coefficient, the lipid solubility of the drug. Cell membrane has a hydrophobic and hydrophilic layers, isn't it? So those drugs which are lipid soluble, that gets absorbed into the lipoid matrix of the cell membrane and readily passes through the cell membrane. Okay, so it depends upon the lipid solubility. It is influenced by the pH. pH also influences. Acidic drugs are absorbed better in the acidic medium because they are unionized, and basic drugs better absorbed in the basic medium because they are in unionized form. Unionized means it is lipid soluble, so it readily crosses the cell membrane. Then size of the drug. Smaller drugs can pass through the pores. There are small pores and in the capillary space between the capillary cells. Okay, so second is aqueous solubility. aqueous solubility means, suppose a drug is given in the tablet form and another is given in the liquid form, which will be absorbed faster? Liquid form, because it is already dissolved in the solution. So aqueous drug which are more aqueous soluble easily get absorbed, and those which are slowly soluble will get absorbed later, okay, or slower. Third is area of the absorbing surface. So stomach has a smaller surface area and intestine has a larger surface area because it contains villi, so its surface area increases. So if a drug is exposed to the more absorbing surface, it will get absorbed more or faster, isn't it? So it depends upon the area of the absorbing surface. Then vascularity of the absorbing surface. If a surface is highly vascular, there is flow of blood. So what happens when a drug, suppose it is a cell membrane and here blood vessel is there, okay. So if a drug enters from this side, it's not working. If a drug enters from this side, flow of drug, if not actively transported, is according to the higher concentration to the lower concentration, okay. So if a drug is getting absorbed from here and there is flow of blood, so as soon as the drug is entering the absorbing surface, it is carried out by the flowing blood. So it gets distributed to the other tissues or other organs. So here the concentration is lower, always lower. So a concentration gradient is always present. So if there is high vascularity, the absorption will be faster. Okay. Now the fifth one, routes of administration. Route of administration. How it affects route of administration? So if a drug is given IV, it directly enters the circulation. So no need for absorption, it is already absorbed, it directly enters the circulation. Now if a drug is given orally, okay, if a drug is given orally, what happens? It is the most common route. Oral route is the most common route. So it has to pass through the gut. So it may get destroyed by the enzymes, presence of enzymes. Then dilution by food. Food is also taken by oral route. So dilution by food. If a drug is taken with food, it gets diluted, its concentration decreases. So it is slowly absorbed. Then interaction with other drugs. Interaction with other drugs. Okay. So if two drugs are taken simultaneously, if you give iron and calcium to a patient and they take it together, it will not absorb. Why? Because they form chelates. Yeah. If tetracycline is given with calcium, it will get chelated, so not absorbed. So drug-drug interaction or drug-food interaction is also there. Okay. Then gut motility. Some drugs increases the gut motility, movement of the gut, peristalsis. So if a drug is given with a drug which increases the gut motility, what happens? It hastens the movement of the drug. Suppose the drug has to be absorbed from the stomach and it is moving faster. Will it get absorbed? A little amount will be get absorbed. Similarly, if any drug which decreases the motility, what will happen? A large amount of drug will be absorbed. Okay. Then some drugs are acid labile. Okay. Acid lability. So those drugs which are acid labile, if taken, it gets destroyed by the gastric acid. So if such tablets or drugs are enteric coated, you have heard this name or you will learn later. Enteric coated. Enteric coated tablet means these tablets are coated with such a thing that it does not get destroyed by the gastric juice. Okay, so it is only liberated when it crosses the gastric juice and then it gets absorbed to increase the absorption. Then another word is that sustained release or delayed release. So these drugs are made with such things that they are not simultaneously deposited in the gut. What happens? They are slowly released from the tablet. There are small holes. A primary amount is released and then the amount is slowly released. So what happens? It gets the particular amount in the gut or then it comes to the circulation. Okay. So these are the things. There are more things which affects the oral administration of drug and therefore the further absorption from the oral administration. Okay. Now, if a drug is given by parenteral means other than oral. Okay. Parenteral means other than oral. IV, IM, subcutaneous, intradermal, these things. So IV, you know, it gets absorbed in the circulation directly. It reaches the circulation. Then IM, intramuscular and subcutaneous. In both these routes, drug is given near the capillaries. Okay. So almost 100%. Almost 100% absorption. But there is a slower rate of absorption. It gets absorbed 100%. The amount reaches is 100%. And the rate of absorption is slower than the IV. Okay. So how? In both these conditions, the drug may get bound to the proteins. Okay. And protein has a larger molecular weight, so it may not enter the circulation readily. So their absorption fraction is 100%, means they are absorbed almost 100%, but their rate of absorption is a bit lower. Okay. Then topical drugs like skin, mucous membrane, etc. What happens? From any mucous membrane, it is easily absorbed. But from skin, it is also absorbed, but depends upon the size of the drug. All those things that governs the transport across cell membrane. But some drugs are readily absorbed from the skin. Nicotine. Okay, nicotine patches are available in the market, which are given for those who wants to give up the smoking. For them, nicotine patches are available. So this drug is readily absorbed from the skin. So if topical drug is taken, it may get absorbed readily or may not be. Okay, depends upon the lipid solubility of the drug. Then other factors are also there, but their absorption is not 100%. Okay? And they are slowly absorbed than any other route. Now, the second step of pharmacokinetics, that is, what is the second step? What is the second step of pharmacokinetics? Distribution. So second is distribution. What is distribution? What is distribution? When a drug already reached the circulation, now it will reach the other organs. Okay. So distribution is the movement of drug from the circulation to the other sites of action, other tissues, other organs. Okay. So that is distribution. So which factors will affect the distribution? Again, there is movement across the cell membrane. So all the factors which govern the movement of drug across the cell membrane also affects the distribution of a drug. Okay. So it depends upon lipid solubility of a drug, those drugs which are more lipid soluble will cross the cell membrane and again reach the tissue or organ, from blood to another tissue. Then pH, it is also affected by pH. In an unionized form, they will readily absorb. If it is ionized form, they will not get absorbed. Then most important thing in distribution is the binding to the plasma and tissue proteins. Binding to the plasma and tissue proteins. So, if a drug which is in the blood, if it is free, it is not bound to any protein, it can move easily. But if it is bound to any protein has a larger molecular weight, it will affect its absorption as well as elimination. Okay. So, suppose in a circulation there are free drugs and some drugs are protein bound. So, which will cross the cell membrane easily? Those which are smaller in size. Again, there is plasma binding. These plasma proteins have different affinity for different substrates. Okay. You have read in biochemistry about enzyme actions. There is also receptor and receptor binding. Similarly, here the plasma protein binding, okay, it affects the movement of the drug across the cell membrane. So if they have more affinity for a substrate, it will get bound. And suppose another substrate is there and both has the affinity for the same binding protein. So those substrate which has more affinity will get binded to the protein and other drug is replaced from the binding protein. Okay. If a drug, suppose this is a drug, it is bound to a plasma protein. Okay. Another drug is there. it also has the affinity for the same plasma binding protein. So what happens? Those drug which has more affinity will replace the previous substrate and get binds to the, it will replace it and it gets bind to the plasma protein. So the previous drug will become free. Okay, this is how plasma protein binding affects. So plasma and tissue protein both affects. Then fourth is presence and density of carrier proteins. Okay, since a drug has to move to another organ and if it is carrier bound, so you have already read about facilitated diffusion and active transport, which is carrier dependent. There is a carrier protein which carries the drug from the one side of the cell membrane to the another side. So if the number of carrier proteins is more in a tissue, it will carry the substrate easily. If the concentration or density of the carrier protein is low, the drug will not, or in a very less quantity, will cross the cell membrane. Okay, so it depends upon the presence and density of the carrier protein as well. So these are the factors which affects the distribution. Now there is a term apparent volume of distribution. Okay, apparent volume of distribution. What happens? Suppose our body is a single compartment. Okay, our body is a single compartment and a drug is given here. Okay, so if it is a simple single compartment and drug is given and it is distributed equally, if it is distributed equally, then each unit of plasma is unit of our body volume will get the same amount of drug. Okay, so suppose 1 gram or rather 1000 milligram, okay, of drug is given. Total drug is given is 1000 milligram and plasma concentration was found to be 50 milligram per liter. Okay, suppose a drug is given IV because it is readily reaches the circulation. 1000 milligram drug is given by IV and it is calculated that plasma concentration is 50 milligram per liter. Each liter of plasma contains 50 milligram of the drug. Then what will be the volume of distribution? How can you calculate the volume? 1000 milligram of drug and the plasma concentration is 50 milligram per liter. So it is equal to 20 liter. So the apparent volume of distribution is 20 liter. It means that if our body has a single compartment and the volume of distribution is 20 liter, so 1000 milligram of drug if given and it distributes equally, if it is a single compartment it will be distributed equally, then each unit of the plasma, each unit of the volume has 50 milligram of the drug. Okay, so it is given as the plasma concentration, or it is the apparent volume of, it is why called apparent, because our body is not a single compartment. there are different compartments: extravascular, intravascular, intracellular, extracellular. Then there are tissue fluids. So it is for understanding the distribution of drug. Do you know why it is important to know the distribution of drug? Suppose a drug is given and it is supposed to work. Its site of action is brain. Okay. So you gave it IV. The blood is present in the circulation. What amount of drug will enter the brain? So we should know the volume of distribution. This is why it is important. So accurate is not possible, but we know the apparent volume of distribution. Okay. Now, what happens? Those drugs which are lipid insoluble, that does not easily cross the cell membrane, what happens? They will remain in the extracellular part. Extracellular volume. Will they enter the cell? No. So their volume of distribution will be what? Less. Okay. Their volume of distribution will be less because their amount present in the plasma is more. They are not easily absorbable in the tissues, in the organs. So their volume mostly are extracellular. So their plasma concentration will be higher. So it will seem that their volume of distribution is low. Okay. Similarly, if a drug is highly lipid soluble and easily crosses the cell membrane, and their plasma concentration will be very low. So what we can conclude? That its plasma concentration is very low. That means their apparent volume of distribution is very high. Okay. This is volume. This is the amount of drug. And it is the plasma concentration, isn't it? So if a drug is given and their plasma concentration is very low, that means its volume of distribution is very high. But sometimes it appears more than the actual fluid in the body. Why? Because these drugs are mostly very highly lipid soluble and they enters the tissues or organs very easily, and they gets accumulated in the tissues. Okay, that's why their volume of distribution will appear very high. So what are its implications? There are two terms. One is bolus drug. A drug is given in a high amount initially. Why? Those drugs which has the higher volume of distribution, it gets distributed in the whole organs, whole tissues. So their plasma concentration will be low. So to get the effective plasma concentration, we have to give a bolus amount. We have to give a larger amount. But when it gets distributed all over the tissues, then we can give the maintenance dose. Okay, so that the plasma concentration is maintained. Okay. Redistribution means when drug is moving from circulation to the other tissues, other organs, what happens? Initially it goes to the organs which has high blood flow. Okay. Those tissues which has a high blood flow will get more drug initially. Then it gets to the other organs which has lower blood flow, which has less vascularity but bulky tissue. Because once they get absorbed there, they are not easily eliminated from there. Okay. So what happens? There is one more thing. There is elimination also. You will read later. It is the distribution from circulation to the distribution to the other organs. Then there is elimination also. Drugs get metabolized, then eliminated from the body. So after elimination, the drug is the concentration of drug decreases from both the circulation and from the tissues also. Okay. Then first reaches the circulation. From circulation, tissue with high vascularity, and then it moves to the tissues with low vascularity. Okay. And then there is elimination and plasma concentration of both decreases. And there is a picture in your book, we'll see it. Absorption, then distribution and metabolism, and then elimination. So from the site of administration, drug reaches the circulation. Okay. Here site of administration reaches the circulation. From circulation, here is the blood vessel and here is the tissue. There is to and fro movement. Here free blood, then it gets bounded with protein, then it reaches the tissues, metabolism occurs here, and then it gets eliminated. Okay, after here is formation of metabolites. Okay, I will give you PPT also. I will show you in PPT also. I cannot draw that nicely as given in the book. So what happens? There is an equilibrium between the circulation and distribution. Means the amount of drug present in the plasma and that present in the tissue, when both gets distributed equally, their amount is equal, then there is no redistribution. Okay. There is a equilibrium, means the amount of, if there is a concentration gradient, then it will move. But if both sides the amount of drug is same, then there is equilibrium and there is no further distribution. Okay. And then there is elimination, and by which the concentration of both in the circulation as well as tissue decreases. You go through the second chapter, okay, and try to learn the third chapter as well. And if you have any difficulty in understanding the thing, you can ask me. Okay.